Hi everyone, good afternoon. We can start the session. So I'm Danish, one of the coordinator of Tensors, and Tensors is a non-profit organization by the students of IIT Madras, aiming to help the society. And also we take several social initiatives and organize social campaigns throughout the year. And also we generate our funds for through the social events by conducting various exams and counseling programs for JE and JOSA. So today we have Akash and Anilkumar as a speaker for mechanical department webinar, and he is an IIT Madras alumnus and currently working as a mechanical engineer at LAM Research USA. So I guess he can give a good insight on the department. And by the time you can ask the queries in the chat and refrain from unmuting and talking yourself. So please do post your queries on the chat, and I will take up the queries after Akash speaks. Okay, so over to you, Akash.
So, hi everyone. I wasn't expecting such a big audience, but anyways, a couple of years ago, I was also a part of Tensors, helping out students, you know, figure out what was their best choice. It's really good to see how how the whole company has grown. But anyways, so introducing myself, I'm Akash. I graduated from IIT Madras in 2019. After that, I came for my master's in US in Texas A&M University. After that, I graduated this May in 2021. And after that, I joined LAM Research as a level 2 mechanical engineer. So thinking back, so 6 years ago, if someone would have asked me a question like why exactly I chose mechanical engineering, at that point of time, the answer for me was pretty simple. I was a huge Marvel fan, and I really loved the kind of work which Tony Stark does, and that really fascinated me. So he's a mechanical engineer, and the kind of stuff which he did, building up the suit and all the cool tech, it really fascinated me, and that was one of my biggest motivating factor to take up mechanical engineering, and I totally don't regret it. So to give you guys a basic, very fundamental understanding of what mechanical engineering essentially is and what does mechanical engineers do. So broadly speaking, mechanical engineering can be classified into many stages. So one major stage of mechanical engineering is design. So let's take a simple iPhone or any phone which you have. So if you look at it, it's a mechanical engineer who designs the whole phone, where the camera has to be placed, where the speakers are, what has to be the dimensions, where all the components are placed. So how it will look like, what is the final product going to look like? The design is done by a mechanical engineer. So after a design is done, then comes manufacturing. So in manufacturing, the basic questions which a mechanical engineer tries to answer is, which is the best material we can use? What is the best process which we have to go through to manufacture this phone? Is it 3D printing, or is it like injection molding or some kind of machining process? What is the manufacturing method on how we can get this iPhone, which is on a design phase, to an actual final product? So that is also another part of mechanical engineering. So after we get the product, some analysis has to be done. Okay, so analysis, some simple analysis would be like how strong the phone is, how much will it bend. You guys must have seen in YouTube so many people doing some bend testing. How far it has to drop. It has to drop so that the glass breaks and whatnot. That's so many tests. So these tests, before it comes to the hands of the customer, is actually done in the lab by some engineers. So it could be actual physical tests, physically making the product and doing some of these tests, or it could be some kind of simulations, numerical simulations on, hey, okay, I'm applying these forces over here, how much reflections I'm going to get, what will be the final form of the product. So that is also a kind of domain which mechanical engineers work. And finally, it is the inspection. So after all this analysis, after all the designing, everything, you get a final product. There has to be inspection that has to be done. Keep in mind, these iPhones or any kind of phones are made in millions. So there has to be some kind of technology to make sure that each phone which is coming out is actually very good, it is proper, all the instruments are in the right place, and it is ready to be given off to a customer. So these are the core mechanical. So this is like the core part. But over the years, mechanical engineering has transformed, and there has been it contributions from other departments towards mechanical. So it has slowly started to become very interdisciplinary. So one of the very recent upcomings in mechanical is robotics. You guys must have known. So in robotics, what we usually do is control parts, control open, like it's just like hands. Let's take a prosthetic hand. It can be controlled by a human, it can be controlled by an autonomous chip, or so many technologies like that which has come up. It comes under the domain of mechanical engineering. There is a completely different industry like robotics engineering, like very specialized industry, but on a fundamental scale I would argue that it is still it still comes under the domain of mechanical engineering. Another interesting field is mechatronics, which is an amalgam of mechanical engineering and electronics or electrical engineering. So in mechatronics, a mechatronics engineer would basically be dealing on motors or induction motors in Tesla, for example. You guys must have heard of Tesla, which is an electric vehicle. The motors which is run over there is run by electricity. So how those motors work, what is the RPM it can generate, what is the braking force, and all those kind of stuff. It is done by mechatronics engineer. And another department which is closely related to mechanical, which you can eventually branch out in the future, is industrial engineering. So what industrial engineering does is, to give you an example, let's take the example of iPhone. So like I said, there is huge manufacturing plants across the world which is trying to produce iPhones day in and day out. So an industrial engineer would be answering problems like, okay, how many machines do we need? How much capital do we need? What is the throughput? How many iPhones can we make in a day? What is the total cost? All those kinds of analysis is done by an industrial engineer. So an industrial engineer has an idea of mechanical engineering. His base is in mechanical, but he is also well aware of data science and how to manipulate the data to get some really good information. So it's a mix of those two industries. And then lastly, and a very recent branch which comes in mechanical is nanotechnology and the semiconductor industry. And that is where I am based in right now. So many of the people, they totally do not know that nanoscience and the semiconductor industry, you can eventually go into this industry from mechanical engineering, and it has a lot of scope. If you guys are following the news, you guys must have heard that there's a huge chip shortage in the world right now because of COVID, the huge electronics industry, and therefore the demand for mechanical engineers are at an all-time high, to be very honest. So this is about mechanical engineering. So talking about my experience as a mechanical engineer, starting from undergrad in IIT Madras. In my first couple of years, it was a very core mechanical subjects. About what I've said, it was very core design, manufacturing, studying about steel, different kinds of steel, and all that kind of stuff. How to use CAD tools. CAD, when I say CAD, it is like 3D modeling, where you can build a model virtually. So you guys might be knowing that. So yeah, so this was my first year. So in my second year, I slowly started taking up electives. So what an elective is, you have an option to take up courses of your choice. So IIT Madras offers this. I think pretty much many of the IITs and NITs give that freedom to students to take up subjects which they actually like. So I was at a very initial stage. I really liked nanoscience. So I got in touch with the professor. He gave me an opportunity to work with him. I slowly started, digging deeper and deeper into nanoscience, molecular dynamics and things like that. So that was my second year. In my third year, I got an internship in Tata Steel. So in Tata Steel, that was my first professional experience. So I am going to a company. I'm a professional. I get paid. So you have your managers, you have your team and all that kind of stuff. So it was a different experience. I learned a lot from them. It was a place where I was finally able to take my knowledge and put it into practice. So after my third year and towards the fourth year, I had to make up a choice. I go get a job in Tata Steel, or I can go for higher studies. So since I was also really interested, um, and I knew that I really wanted to study a little bit more before I get into a job, I applied to many institutes in US, and finally I got in Texas A&M. So here I worked in Texas A&M. I worked as a graduate researcher. So in Texas A&M, I was very specific in this domain, on nanotechnology and semiconductor industry. So I took up a lot of courses on that. I got in touch with professors. So it was very specific. I do not want to go into details because it will take up so much time. So yeah, so after my master's, the job opportunities were very, very high, like I said, for mechanical engineers abroad. And with the current settings, it's pretty nice. And I got in a very nice company which deals with semiconductor industry. And so that's my experience as a mechanical engineer. Yeah, so that pretty much sums it up. So if you guys have any questions, anything you want me to answer, yeah, I'm done.
Okay, so you can talk about some kind of placement opportunities in IITM.
Oh yeah. In IITM, okay, placements so when talking about job opportunities in mechanical engineering, the job opportunities in India, so we can take it in two perspectives: job opportunities in India and the job opportunities outside India. So in India, we have big automobile companies. Semiconductor industries in India are pretty low. I think we do not have any semiconductor industry in India. It has always been dominated by Intel, AMD, TSMC, and companies like that, which based outside India. And if you are in IIT or NIT, if you are interested in that field, you have a much better scope of going overseas than staying in India. So in India, the life of a core mechanical engineer, the options are typically limited to Tata Steel, like the Tata companies. Um, um, and then you have Mitsubishi, Suzuki, and companies like that, which is very automobile based companies. So these are the core mechanical companies. And at the same time, there are also a lot of upcoming startups, which is going to give you a lot of exposure to different kinds of mechanical engineering. Because I have a couple of my friends working in many very cool startup companies which makes automobile devices, and they have like prosthetic arms, totally autonomous prosthetic arms and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. But the important fact is, if you go outside India, your job opportunities exponentially increase. Because if you go towards Germany or towards Europe in specific, you will have more openings as a core mechanical engineers in big companies like General Motors, and then you have BMW, Volkswagen, and big giant companies like that. So it's pretty cool. And if you come towards US, here also we have a lot of openings for mechanical engineers, like Ford, Ford, and we have SpaceX and Tesla, You guys must have heard of Tesla. So these are some of the companies of outside India, if you are interested in. So the reason I'm giving you a perspective of both inside and outside India is because I just want you guys to be aware that when you are a mechanical engineer, you are not just limited to India. You always have the opportunity to go outside, to go abroad, and explore different domains and different kinds of working environments. So yeah, so when
Bhaiya,
it
what
comes,
is the scope?
Mhm.
Bhaiya, what is the scope of aerospace engineering in IIT Madras? Should we prefer over mechanical engineering or not? Bhaiya?
Okay, so aerospace engineering and mechanical engineering. So they are two different departments in IIT Madras. But when you look at it in perspective, when you take aerodynamics, like I said, there are core courses for every department, which is like the fundamental courses you have to take if you are a mechanical engineering student, and fundamental courses which you have to take if you are a aerospace student. These two core courses are going to be different for a mechanical and aerospace. But here is the tricky part. So if I am a mechanical engineer, I take my core courses in mechanical. When it comes to electives, like I said, you always have an option of taking electives. So when you take electives, you can eventually branch out to aerospace engineering. You can take courses from aerospace department and learn about aerospace engineering, but fundamentally you are a mechanical guy. But on the aerospace side, starting from the core courses you're going to take, it is going to be very very specific to aerospace engineering. So the ultimate guide, which the ultimate how should I put it, suggestion which I want to give is, if you are very specific, like, hey, I want to study aerospace, it's my bread and butter, I don't want to study anything else, aerospace should be the best place, because you are going to study aerospace engineering from day one. But if you want to play a little bit more safe, you are not very sure you want to go aerospace, but you still want to learn aerospace, and you also want to study like different other stuffs, then I would suggest mechanical engineering would be a much better option. So it ultimately comes down to what is that you want to do. uh, do you want to be a generalist and eventually become a very specialized guy, or do you want to be a very specialized guy right from the beginning? I hope that answered the question.
Yeah.
Okay, Bhaiya, thank you. Bhaiya.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is another query. Like if one does a dual degree in mech,
Mm-hmm.
and is it possible for that person to do MS abroad? And if yes, can he do an MS in subjects like computing and electrical?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. You can definitely take a dual degree course, and you can apply for masters or PhD. You can go for masters or PhD, and go. And when you are taking your masters or PhD, you can eventually branch out from mechanical to electrical. I have friends who have done it, and it is definitely possible. And I think that would be a very ideal way of going through, to be honest. Like, you study mechanical, you have a very fundamental understanding about a topic. When you take a dual degree, you technically become a little bit more specialized in something. So let's say you took a dual degree with an emphasis on robotics, so you have a mechanical dual degree with an emphasis on robotics. Now you want to go on computer science to study, uh, let's say, computer vision, so that you can integrate your knowledge in robotics, mechanical, with some computer vision. So I think, these are all, very prevalent career paths which many people have taken, and there's nothing to worry about. Yeah.
Yeah, so another query is like, can we do robotics after mechanical? Like,
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. So robotics after mechanical, I'm assuming a higher for your higher studies, like when you're taking masters, you can definitely do that. So this is what I would love to say. So when you when you are studying your bachelor's in mechanical, you are going to be a generalist. That is what that's how your mentality should be. You are going to learn a lot of stuffs from everywhere. You will study about material science, steel manufacturing. You'll study a little bit of controls, which let's say automation. You will study a little bit of electrical engineering. To be honest, I studied electrical engineering. You will study a little bit about nanotechnology. Like I got involved in nanoscience because of some of the courses which I took in my undergrad. You get involved with, you can get eventually get involved with chemistry. Like if you are in, you like, chemical reactions, power plants, nuclear reactions, and stuff like that, you can eventually study. So you're going to be a really good generalist when you take a mechanical engineering and you take electives precisely. So once you are a generalist, what is going to happen is, let's say after you studied mechanical engineering, you're like, okay, now I want to study a little bit more on robotics. You can go take a dual degree program in IITM itself. After third year, like first, second, third year, you are, let's say you joined IITM as a BTech student. In your third year, I believe you have an option to convert to a dual degree student and specialize on robotics. And even after that, you're feeling like, okay, I want to study a little bit more in detail. So you can do a PhD in IIT Madras if that's what you want, or if you want to go abroad and study abroad, that is also an option which is available to you.
So how feasible it is to do other courses on the side while pursuing mechanical engineering?
So how difficult it is. So I personally, in my personal opinion, when I was an undergraduate student, I had no idea what I was doing. I used to take up courses from everywhere, like honestly, because I didn't, at that point when I was in IIT Madras, I didn't have a very clear idea like, okay, this is what I want to do. This is my career. This is the job I want to get. I was just pursuing my interests. So in my first couple of years, I was very involved in thermal science to study heat transfer, mass transfer, all those kind of stuff was what fascinated me. So, and then eventually I moved into renewable science. I want to study about how batteries are made, what is the battery technology, electrolysis, and all those kinds of information. And then eventually I took up courses in nanotechnology and all those stuffs. And that's when I realized, okay, this is something really I'm really interested in, and this is my bread and butter. It would eventually be my bread and butter. So in this process, how difficult it was, I would say I found it really interesting because I took up the courses with my own interests. And you might be having this idea, it might be difficult because mechanical engineering is something very separate, and these things are like completely new, and there will be an entry barrier. Do not worry about that, because the professors who are teaching you, like in a typical setting, if you are in a class in IIT Madras, you will have students in mechanical, aerospace, chemical engineering, and many other departments sitting together in one class to study that particular course. So it is not, and the professors know that you guys are from different departments, and he has to teach things fundamentally from scratch to a high advanced level. There are courses which have prerequisites. Prerequisites essentially means you need to study like this courses. Only after you complete these three courses, you can take the fourth course. There are courses like that with restrictions. You might not have access to those courses because, like I said, you are a mechanical guy and you might not have studied those courses. But there are other kinds of courses which do not have any prerequisites, and you can completely enter, be like a fresh guy who have zero idea about electrolysis or nanotechnology, and after the course you will have a very decent idea on what it is.
Excuse me. So, if we were to do computer science or something on the side, is it easier with easier with the mechanical stream or some other streams? Or how's it?
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. So, so if computer science is, a course, something which you want to pursue, obviously the best choice would be taking computer science itself. Second best option would be something more related to computer science, which would be data science. A lot of electrical people study a lot of computer science. So electrical would be a very good branch for you if you want to like you are in a course, but you want to um, have some kind of computer science in between. So electrical and computer, I would say there is a lot of crosstalk between electrical and computer. So mechanical and computer definitely has a lot of crosstalk, but when compared to electrical and computer, it is a little bit lower. But yeah, so that's what I want to say. So if you eventually want to pursue a career in computer science, if that's what's your ultimate goal, so first option would be take computer science. Second option would be take electrical and study computer science in the meanwhile, because that will be a little bit more easier. And third option would be take mechanical and go with it, or any other courses. But I would say after electrical it would be mechanical, which has a higher crosstalk with computer science.
Thank you. Just one final clarification. You said you
Yeah.
enjoyed all batteries and all that.
Mhm.
Were those courses were those courses done in IIT Madras or on your own somewhere else?
Oh no, yeah, it is done at IIT Madras itself. So, like I said, how the curriculum is built in IIT Madras, or at least when I was there, um, was you have very definite core courses. Like you are a mechanical guy, you have to study like some, let's say 6 courses. These 6 courses you have to study and you have to pass, and only then you can qualify for a degree in mechanical engineering. So you did those 6. Next you have another 12 courses which are called electives. So electives gives you the freedom to take up courses of your choice. You can take up computer science, you can study mechanical, you can take humanities. I have taken some courses in humanities, um, to understand the world, how China works, how is the global economy working, and all that kind of stuff. So you have the freedom to take all these courses, and that's where your long-term vision comes in. Do I want to have controls on my side? Some of my friends did controls. They took courses which is related to building control automation systems. Some of my friends were really interested in banking, so they took up courses in finance, and all those kinds of stuff. That those courses are also available in IIT Madras. Some of my friends were really interested in computer science, AI, building AI, artificial intelligence and machine learning and all those kind of stuff. And there are students who did those and still working in computer based software companies. So one of my friend, like he did his master undergraduate in mechanical engineering. He did his masters in mechanical engineering, um, with an emphasis on controls and software development. And he's right now he's in the US and he's working for a software company. Is coding is what he do. So it is definitely possible.
Thanks a lot. This is very helpful.
Yeah.
Bhaiya, please tell me, it will. Bhaiya, please tell me about engineering physics branch in IIT Madras. So
Uh,
what is its scope and matlab in future?
Sorry, sir. Like this is a mechanical webinar, so I kindly refer you to attend the engineering physics so that you get a good insight on that.
Okay,
So,
okay, Bhaiya. Thank you. Thank
like, kindly refrain from like unmuting because we can't ask like many people can't ask at the same time. So you can post your chat like queries in the chat and like I'll take that up and like ask to Akash. Okay, so another query from the chat is like, how's the curriculum of mechanical engineering? Is it very easy or difficult from point of a CGPA kind of thing?
Okay. Okay. In a CGPA perspective, okay, so it is definitely competitive. I can tell you that. It is not easy. You have really smart people also taking up really smart people taking up mechanical engineering. So the beauty of mechanical engineering, which one of the things which I really like about mechanical engineering is that all the things which you have studied so far for preparation in JOSA or for all these exams, all the knowledge which you have gained so far, it rolls over to mechanical engineering. So mechanical engineering is basically build on all the things which you have learned so far. But when you take electrical or when you take computer science specifically, you guys might have been off touch from computer science because in IIT, in the JE exams, nobody's going to ask you coding questions. You all study physics, chemistry, maths, right? So because of that, you guys are already strong in physics, chemistry, maths, and those foundations eventually roll over to mechanical engineering. That makes your life actually easier compared to electrical and computer science. Because this is my argument. So this is how I personally felt it. But let's say if you're taking computer science, all the knowledge which you have gained so far, it won't contribute that much in your later stages because you're going to take up a new language, you are going to study things which are very, very, very new, and all the knowledge you have gained so far, it's nice, it would be there at the back of your head, but you're not going to use it that much as a mechanical engineer is actually going to use. So keeping that in mind, I would say it would be a little bit more easier to study and score in mechanical engineering. That is, I think, that was one of the reasons which I took up mechanical, because I knew it would be easy for me. I would be able to cope up with it because it's basically an extension of everything which I've learned so far. But I was a bit intimidated to electrical and computer science because it's something very new. I have no idea, and I didn't want to take the risk. And like I said, I really liked what mechanical engineers do. So that's how I would like to put it.
Yeah,
Sir,
okay. So is manufacturing design close to mechanical, and like is the syllabus kind of identical?
Oh yeah, so design for manufacturing. So a design for manufacturing is a very, very relevant question which mechanical engineers needs to answer. Uh, so that if the question is design for manufacturing involved in mechanical engineering, oh yeah, definitely it is. It is a very interesting field, and you have a lot of opportunities there. It's kind of like 15 to 20% of the work I do is also like design of manufacturing, like how exactly you're going to manufacture something. Yeah, it comes under mechanical.
sir, I have doubt. I cannot type in text. Sir, like if I have no interest in doing PhD these things, sir.
Okay.
After finishing BTech, sir, if I suppose I place for a core job, sir, then what will be my average salary, sir?
Oh, to be honest, I do not know the salary perspectives in India, because like I said, I've never actually worked there in India like a full-time actual employee. I've only done internships back in India.
Okay,
So
sir, like I have a plan, like I finished BTech, sir, with all my electives by taking computer science, sir,
okay,
and then apply and then work for and then place for a non-core job, sir. Work for
okay,
2 years, sir, because I need some money for taking MS, sir, and then I
okay,
move to I take MS in computer science, sir, in USA or UK.
okay.
Is it good pathway, sir?
Oh, yeah, definitely. So you I am assuming you graduated, you have taken up courses in computer science. Did you work? Is that what you said? You worked for a couple of years in a software company. So you already have a professional experience working in US. I would say you can use that experience and your courses which you have studied in IIT Madras as a leverage, and you can definitely pursue a career in computer science. You can apply. I'm pretty sure there are people who do it. You wouldn't be the first person who would be doing this. There are people who move from computer science to.
Sir, I have a small note, sir. Like, what is difference between electives and minor, sir? Minor course.
Okay, yeah, electives and minor. So when you have a major, so major means what? Mechanical engineering is your major. So like I said, if you are you want a major in mechanical engineering, there are like 6 or 7 courses, like very predefined courses which you have to take if you want mechanical engineering degree. So when you say minor, so let's say for an example, let's say you have a minor in controls. So if you want a minor in controls, there is another list of courses which you have to take. It won't be as big as what mechanical engineering needs. For like mechanical engineering needed 6, right? For taking a minor, you might just need 1 or 2 courses, but it is predefined. If you want a minor in controls, you need to take these 2 courses. But electives are completely free. You can take whatever you want and you can learn whatever you want and pursue a career, pursue whatever you wish to learn.
So electives are within a course, main course, sir.
So electives are open slots which doesn't come under like mechanical engineering per se. So when you say minors, there are little bit more restrictions. So electives, you can take whatever you want to study. You can study humanities, you can study finance, you can study aerospace engineering, you can study computer science.
Sir?
No,
should I pay extra for elective?
No, if you are in IIT Madras, the price of an elective and price of a minor, it's based on courses. So if I'm right, as far as I was there, it was all the same.
Okay, sir. So electives is something which is present inside a course, and minor is some extra course, sir.
No. Electives are courses. Electives themselves are courses. For an example of an elective would be Introduction to Aerospace Engineering. Let's say that is a course, and you want to study that course. So electives are basically, how should I put it? Let's say you have a curriculum. Okay, in 4 years,
okay, in mechanical curriculum, we have 8 semesters. In that last 2 semesters, I saw that there was many electives, sir.
Exactly.
Like professional electives and free electives. Can you differentiate between the professional, free, and what are electives?
Okay, so when you see the curriculum, right? So you said you saw electives and professional electives and free electives. Free electives, in those free elective slots over there, what you can fill that up with courses of your choice. How I said, you can study computer science, you can study electrical, whatever you want. Professional electives, when it comes to professional electives, again there is a list of electives which IIT Madras offer. There is also a list of professional electives which IIT Madras also offers. I do not recollect what are the professional electives which I chose, but the key difference between a normal elective and a professional elective is a professional elective is more related to mechanical engineering. Like they are related to mechanical engineering, but a little bit more spread. But in a free elective, you're totally free to take whatever courses which you like. I hope you understood.
Sir, now I understood completely about electives, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what is minor, sir? Minor course.
Yeah. So when you say minor, like I said, so minor has, so let's assume you want to take a minor in controls. Okay, that is what you want to take.
Okay, sir.
So if you want to take a minor in controls, IIT Madras, the administration says, okay, if you want a minor in controls, you need to take course A and course B for sure. You have to take it. Only if you take course A and course B, you can get a minor in controls. So what is a minor means? It is basically an additional certification from IIT Madras saying that, hey, this guy knows mechanical engineering, but we also certify that he has a minor in controls, that he is good at controls. Like,
So
it's like a
suppose,
certification.
like if I have to get minor in controls, then my elective should be in such a way that.
Yeah, exactly. You
Thank you,
have to
sir.
take, yeah.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, so we'll take up the last two questions and like we'll end the session. Okay, so one query is it possible to study further MTech PhD along with a good job after BTech in mechanical engineering?
Along with a good job. So it is theoretically impossible, because if you are taking up a full-time job, you basically when you're taking up a job, that means you are a professional. You have to work 8 hours a week. You are full, your whole time for 5 days a week is dedicated to that job. So technically, and when you are a student, that means you are a full-time student. That means 5 days a week, whatever is the time slot, like for 8 hours, 9 hours, 5 days a week, you are a student. So these two things, you cannot do it together. But what people usually do is, if you are a job, like at least in my company, how it's done is, like if you are working and you want to pursue a higher degree, let's say masters or something like that, you can take a break from your job. You can tell the authorities like, hey, I am going to study my masters for like 2 years. Can I take a break from the job? So they will give you a break from the job. So you don't have to work per se, but your job will be there. You study masters for 1 or 2 years, and then you return to this job. So that is how people usually do it. But it is technically impossible to do both at the same time. But you can do something else. That would be, you are studying, you're doing your masters, you can do internships. So when you're doing internships, you are it could be part-time internship, or it could be like a 1 semester break from the institute. You're taking a semester break from the institute and you are doing a full-time internship for a company. So that is also another way, but you can definitely not be a full-time student and a full-time employee at the same time.
Okay, so the final one, like what are the job opportunities in core mechanical engineering?
Oh yeah, like I said, there are a lot of opportunities in core. So when you say core mechanical, I'm assuming it is some related to some form of design, some form of manufacturing, and some form of analysis. Uh, Opportunities in India, I would say, is very nice. I wouldn't say it is the best, because I know that outside India, your job opportunities are way higher for a core mechanical job uh, than in India. But the situation in India is, I would say, it is very nice, and there are a lot of startup companies which are doing some very innovative stuff, and which requires really nice mechanical engineers to just join them and innovate and do some really cool stuff.
Okay, so this like we are running out of time, so we would like to close the session. So thank you everyone for joining, and like you could join the JOSA consultancy program offered by Tensors, and I will put up the link in the chat and like for more analysis and like comparison between the branches and thank you Akash for giving a insightful knowledge on the mechanical engineering department, and thank you all. I'm closing the session.
Yeah. Thank you guys for like bearing in. Thank you.
Thank you, Akash, for
Thank you.
giving such a detailed view about the mechanical engineering.
Oh yeah,
Thank
sure.
you so much.
It's my pleasure. Yeah, no worries. Thank you.